We're live. Okay. I was just typing. We're almost live, I think. Hopefully, everyone can see me and hear me. And if not, my husband will probably pop back in because he came up and helped with the technical issues that I was having. Yay. It's good to have tech support in the house. Thank you, honey. All right. So, welcome to the first ever travel book after brunch book club. All right. After all of that excitement, I am going to just make a little adjustment here. Because, yeah, I was so concerned that I was going to be like 15 minutes late in sorting this out. And I mean, technical stuff, it happens, right? So, welcome to the first official After Brunch Travel Book Club. Before we get rolling, if you're joining live, please do share with me what you're currently reading, where you're coming from, and if you want to share details of your brunch, go for it. I'm Melissa Peterson of Travel Like You Dream It. I'm coming to you from Minnesota, one of the suburbs of, well, I'm in one of the suburbs of the Minneapolis St. Paul area. And right now, I am reading This Is Happiness by Niall Williams. It is a phenomenal book. If you've read it, please share, but don't share too much because I'm still reading it. Uh, I am sad to report that Niall Williams was in Minneapolis at Majors and Quinn recently, and I totally missed it. Actually, not just recently, on St. Patrick's Day, which would have been a perfect day to have a chance to see him. I have been able to watch a little bit of the video. Clearly, I need to keep up with what's going on with our local bookstores here because that would have been fabulous to see. At any rate, brilliant book. This is Happiness by Niall Williams. And there's another book coming out by him, or that came out by him, that I'll be talking about later. Let's see here. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing any comments yet. Again, this is my first time. Well, this is our first meeting of the travel book club, uh, and so it's. I'm still new to keeping an eye on the chat at the same time as doing all of this. All right. So, like I shared, I'm Melissa Peterson of Travel Like You Dream It. You also might know me from Chris Plus Melissa, a travel channel that I have done with my husband. We've slowed down a little bit on that, but you might know me from there. And let's see, what else do I need to share with you? Oh, if you're watching in the replay, please also comment about what you're reading and where you're coming from and books that you really love or would love to have included, so long as they have some kind of travel inspiration tied to them. Certainly, we can have a look at them. Now, today is all about Ireland and Irish books and Irish writers. And the big reason for that is one, it's a wonderful way to kick off a travel book club, in my humble opinion. I love Ireland and I love Irish books. I feel like I still haven't read nearly as many of them as I could. And so I'm excited to read more of them. But I did spend 3 months living in Ireland, and that was lovely, and it was so amazing that, my husband and I have put together a group tour that we're going to be doing this October that you could join us on. So it just felt like the right sort of place to start, was starting in Ireland. And you'll see me looking over to the side. I do have notes because there's just a lot with this being the very first one, because I want to kind of go over broad Ireland. And then, as far as books and literature and authors, and then at the end, I am going to share with you the book that we will be chatting about in the next couple of meetings. My thought is that, although should they be called meetings? I feel like they should be bookish get-togethers or something. Meeting sounds so obligatory. So yeah. All right. Well, here we are. Uh, so then, get kind of more into the book that we're discussing. And then in the next month, we'll pick a book from a different country and talk about some literature from a different country before diving into that month's book. That's the big overarching plan for this. Again, thank you for joining me for the ride. All right. I covered that. Good job, me. And now let's see. Since it is the very first after brunch travel book club get together, see, I wrote get together because I thought about that. Uh, it's going to be more of like a show and tell about Irish books, and also because it's the first one of the month. And like I said, I kind of just want to go general and then go specific and really get into the fun nitty gritty of these things. All right. So I do want to start with a book that my stylist, while we lived in Kinsale, Ireland, recommended to me. He told me if you really want to understand Ireland, uh, you need to read The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. So I did, and he was right. It covers about 70 years of history, taking us to modern times. It is heartbreaking in many parts, but like any great Irish work, I feel like, well, at least most great Irish works, there's a bit of humor worked in. And I thought I would just read a couple of quotes from the book, and then I'll be kind of doing that with each work that I chat about. So here's one. Maybe there were no villains in my mother's story at all, just men and women trying to do their best by each other and failing. And then later on in the book, what you know about women, replied Maud, could be written in large font on the back of a postage stamp, and there'd still be room for the Lord's Prayer. Which isn't that just fun? I just love that. I love the way he uses language and just the little those little edges in it. And now I cannot talk about Irish literature without talking about Seamus Heaney. He is one of my most favorite poets, and his poem Digging is the very first poem that I ever explicated. And when you explicate a poem, as you may already know, you really just pick it apart for all of its meanings. You consider that the poet chose each word with great care. So when I first read it, okay, so here's one of the first lines. Between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests, snug as a gun. Now, when I read that, understood squat could mean somebody squatting in a place that they don't belong, or that, that they haven't paid for. Certainly there's squat as the shape, and that gives a certain heaviness to the pen in my mind. But then snug as a gun sent me searching the internet a little bit because the internet was around when I explicated that, which was handy. Uh, Snug is also in pubs in Ireland or in Ireland's. Oh my gosh, y'all. uh, a snug is a space in a pub in typically in Ireland that is a bit more private in feeling. The front door could be closed. A lot of times, women who wanted their privacy would gather maybe in a snug, is my understanding from what I've read. And then also, it was a way to have political discussions or other discussions that you wanted to maintain privacy about um, while within a pub. And so then Snug took on all of these meanings. And as I continued reading his poem, I spent hours and hours and days just having fun exploring that specific poem. And really, Heaney's poems can all have that done to them. And it's just a magical way to explore Ireland through just a few words and then to end up on all of these different places. Kind of like the nice rabbit hole of the internet. The rabbit hole one should go down when on the internet. Um, I thought I would also um, mention, oh, I don't want to forget this. Thank goodness for notes. His Nobel acceptance speech or his Nobel lecture is amazing. And I have put a link in the description because it is worth a listen. It is absolutely fantastic. Uh, but also, one of the poems that I find myself returning to right now is Whatever You Say Nothing. And I can only, by rules, I can only read a little bit because otherwise It's not the right thing to do. So I'm only going to read a little bit, and then I highly recommend going and finding this poem out on the internet. It is there. Expertly civil-tongued with civil neighbors on the high wires of first wireless reports, sucking the fake taste, the stony flavors of those sanctioned old elaborate retorts. Oh, it's disgraceful. Surely I agree. Where's it going to end? It's getting worse. They're murderers. Internment, understandably. The voice of sanity is getting hoarse. The entire poem is brilliant and devastating, and I don't even know if I picked the best lines, but they're good. I think you gotta agree, they're good. Um, Now moving on from Seamus Heaney, I wanted to bring up Samuel Beckett. He was born in Dublin, but he did most of his writing in Paris, and the work that I'm most familiar, with of his is Waiting for Godot. Now, I did learn yesterday that I've been mispronouncing it because I've always called it Waiting for Godot. I just kind of assumed that was how it was said, and then I read that Ian McKellen said that Samuel Beckett insisted that it be pronounced with the emphasis on God, Godot. And it makes so much sense when you consider the play. It is mostly two men who are waiting for Godot. And sometimes the waiting and the tedium gets them into such a state that they are suicidal. And it's abstract, it's tragicomic, it's I just love it. It's like it sounds so awful, but the play makes me smile so much. I have also worked with theater students on that play because of the simplicity of the language and the many different ways that lines could be interpreted, especially when you just pull 2 pages out of context, is fantastic. And thanks to Andrew Cheney messaging me about this, I know that on Broadway, Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are going to be performing Waiting for Godot in the fall. They haven't announced the dates yet, but I think that is so exciting. And I just needed to share that with you. Definitely, I will be keeping an eye on when that will be happening. All right, moving on from, oh no, I was going to share a quote. All right. So this is Vladimir and Estragon talking back and forth. Uh, and I'll go this way and then I'll go this way. And then you'll know that it's a different character. And it's only a few lines, so it's not that complicated. I don't understand. Use your intelligence, can't you? Vladimir uses his intelligence. I remain in the dark. It's just, that's so fun. That is so fun and brilliant. I just love it. All right. And next up is another brilliant and I think devastating writer in so many ways, and that is Claire Keegan. When I read her collection so late in the day, I was haunted for days, as my husband can attest to. I kept bringing up, especially the story in it called Antarctica, going, oh my gosh, I can't believe that she made the choice she made. Why did she make that choice? She could have made this other choice. And then, but she didn't. Oh, why didn't she make that choice? Would I? Well, I don't think I would have made any of the choices that she made, but it it's it's like there are these short stories, it's a collection of 3 or 4 short stories, and you could read them all in one sitting. It's a very thin book, like this and like this. However, I had to give a little bit of space between each story, so I'd walk away for a bit and do something else, and then I would return to the book and read the next story. And her use of language is so precise. I think before I've said that it's sparse, but it's sparse because it's precise. And there's a lot of intention with it, and it's wonderful. And if you haven't read it, I don't want to give away too much because they are short stories. Definitely, definitely read it. All right. Now, I'm going to chat a little bit about the Halloween tour that we're going to go on in Ireland this October 2025. There are about 12, 14 spaces available. And okay, so it's October 25. It starts on the 27th. It goes through November 4th. It includes Halloween in Derry, which is fantastic. A private ghost tour of Dublin. Uh, there's going to be this. I'm so excited about this in Dublin. The Gallagher's Boxty House storytelling experience. We'll have this late lunch after having visited the cathedral that has mummies in it, and we're going to go listen to these great stories, and we're going to have a lot of potatoes. I love potatoes. We'll have other things beyond potatoes, but there will be a lot of potatoes because they serve a lot of those at Gallagher's Boxty House. And then we'll be spending time in Belfast as well, in Derry, as I mentioned, Halloween in Derry. But I've done another conversation on it, so I don't want to dwell too much on that. And you can join me on May 8th for a conversation about it at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I have it on my Facebook page, the link to it and all of that. Just go to Travel Like You Dream It, look for that. And yes, that is going to be a great experience where you can ask any question you need to ask about the tour. I've partnered along with my husband. My husband and I have partnered with CIE to put this together. And somebody from CIE will be presenting along with me. You know, I know what I've put into the tour. They know all of the rules and things that you should know from CIE. And this individual, I think, has spent more time in Ireland than I have. So and he's gone on CEI trips, and I have not yet. I'm very excited about getting to, though. But I was on the phone with somebody this morning who had some questions about the tour. And she asked a couple of really good ones that I thought I should quick take a moment to answer here. Because if you know me from Chris Plus Melissa, and if you know Chris, you know that we do all these travel videos. Well, she asked if she had to be concerned about being in the video or if we would be making a video about the tour and what elements would be shared, that sort of thing. And I thought it was a really good question. And it didn't occur to me when putting things out to make sure people knew, but we will not be doing any video during that time. We will be taking photos and maybe like some vertical videos like any other tourist might, but we will not be creating a video to then put on YouTube about it. Uh, there's a few reasons for that. One of the biggest is I want to enjoy the tour and I want to enjoy my time with everybody who's joined us on the tour. So I don't want to be doing a video when I'm exploring Derry and Belfast and Dublin and going on ghost tours and all that kind of stuff. So that's a big reason. And then the other reason is I don't want, and Chris doesn't want, for people to feel like they've been brought here so that they can be part of a video or feel obligated to be on camera when really you just want to go on a tour and have a grand time. So we're focusing on the fun. We're focusing on spending time together and not worrying about video because that is a whole nother game. The other great question she asked was, will we be talking too fast? Will we be dressing up for Halloween? Yes, Chris and I will. This person that I was chatting with seemed enthusiastic about also dressing up for Halloween, which is awesome. And then I do think that uh, it would be great if everybody did. However, do what you want. If you want to dress up for Halloween, dress up for Halloween. If it's not really your thing, don't do it. Don't worry about it. We're all going to have a grand time. Okay, now this is the most important part, I feel, of the travel book club, and that is knowing what on earth are we going to be reading and what will we be talking about in the coming weeks. And this might have, been a bit of an indicator. This is Happiness by Niall Williams. Now we're going to read this one, and if there's time, if everybody is up to speed or wants to his book Time of the Child came out in November, and it has one of the characters from this book in it. And so I think it would be cool to read this one and then read that one. And you can see I've marked a few pages. I wanted to read just a few quotes from this book, just to give an idea of the language in it, which is amazing. And I picked quotes that won't give away any of the story. So if you haven't read it yet, if you're not familiar with it, this isn't going to give anything away. And it's just, and although it's like I've been highlighting most pages because it's so good. It's just so good. All right. So, unwilling to concede that science had answers where religion had mysteries, he improvised a blessing that was a prayer to Gabriel the archangel, the patron saint of messengers, who was now, he said, in charge of telephones. Which sometimes when I read about what saints are in charge of, I think, oh gosh, but motorcycles didn't exist when they were alive. How are they the angel of this? How are they the saint of that? How are they protecting us? And it's, oh, well, somebody decided because this angel or saint was in charge of this, it would go, it would follow logic that they would also be in charge of that, which I just love. I love it. All right. Next one. Rain and Claire chose intercourse with wind, all kinds, without discrimination, and came any way it could, wantonly. Isn't that just a great sentence? I think that's a great sentence. Go Niall Williams. Oh, and then there we go. The last one that I'm going to share with you from this book. I'm at an age now when in the early mornings I'm often revisited by all my own mistakes, stupidities, and unintended cruelties. They sit around the edge of the bed and look at me and say nothing, but I see them well enough. So good. And then I thought I should read the back of the book to you so you know what the book is about in a succinct way. So the rain is stopping. Nobody in the small, forgotten village of Faha remembers when it started. Rain on the western seaboard was a condition of living. Now, just as Father Coffery proclaims the coming of electricity, it is stopping. 17-year-old Noel Crow is standing outside his grandparents' house shortly after the rain has stopped when he encounters Christy for the first time. Though he can't explain it, Noel knows right then something has changed. And this is a story that we get to follow, and it has been fun so far because I'm not finished with it yet. I'm halfway in to imagine a town that doesn't have electricity and is in maybe a bit of a hesitant position to get that electricity. And then all of the things that just go on around that. So far it's fun, and I'm now wanting to race through it. I was pacing myself through it because with all of the brilliant sentences, I've been going back and rereading them, not because I don't understand them or not because it's too dense. Like some writers say, I really enjoy Jonathan Franzen, but sometimes I need to reread it just because I'm like, I don't think I understood that. I'm not having that experience with this book, but I am having the experience of, oh my gosh, did I really just read that? I need to go back. Oh, it's so great. But now that I know he has a new book out, it was published in November, Time of the Child, which is why he was in Majors and Quinn chatting, and I missed it. But now I want to get to that book, and quickly. And in other news that you might be interested in, I also learned that the film adaptation of his book, 4 Letters of Love, which I have not read, and now I want to, will be available to be seen in the United States starting on April 25th. And that's kind of newer news. When he was in his talk, he was saying he thought it was going to be June or July, but when I looked it up on the internet, it looks like April 25th is the date. I don't know it's hard to know if that's exactly when, because I couldn't find it in a theater near me yet, but I'm sure it will be. There's a lot of Irish in Minnesota, and there's a lot of good movie theaters, so I'm pretty confident. Now, nobody joined me live today, which is, it's the first one. I hope that some of you join me live next Saturday. I will be having it at 3 p.m. For those who join in the replay, please make sure you comment about, Irish books that you love, or Irish literary figures, or any of that you love, and also places that relate to Ireland, which I just realized are not places that relate to Ireland, places in Ireland that relate to different writers and authors and all of that good stuff, because I think that would be a lot of fun. Although now I'm realizing I completely forgot to mention when I was chatting about Seamus Heaney, there is a wonderful museum exhibit. Although, I mean, well, it's a wonderful exhibit, and it is going through December 2025. It might go longer. It's been extended a couple of times, I believe. And it's called Listen Now Again, and it's all about Seamus Heaney. I know there are a lot of museums and places to see in Dublin, but drop some of those in the comments when you watch and replay if you've been to them, what your thoughts are on them, why they better be on the list the next time I go to Dublin. And also, there was one other thing I wanted to share, and I'm looking off to the side because I'm looking at my bookcase, because there is a pub crawl. Oh, there it is. I was going to grab this before and I forgot. The Dublin Literary Pub Crawl. I have not finished reading this book yet. It has all kinds of spots, though, that you can go, and there's a tour that you can still join, I believe. Just if you're in Dublin, you can look it up, and it's like a night tour or a day tour. I mean, it's a literary pub crawl. It could happen any hour of the day. Whereas our ghost tour is definitely happening at night when we go to Dublin. And let's see. I think I did it then. I think I shared everything that I really meant to share with you today. And yeah, please comment. Please join me next Saturday at 3 p.m. I will be here, all on my own, chatting about books, because I love books and travel, and I can chat about books and travel all day long. Hopefully with you, because I'd love to be able to engage in conversation. I think that makes it more fun. But I'm here. And here's the book we talked about one more time, and that is the book pick of the month. And then here is, camera, there we go. And I do apologize for having the technical issues at the beginning. Hopefully next time those don't come up. Actually, they probably won't come up next time because I will be more prepared. All right. Have a great Saturday, or have a great whatever day it is from wherever you're at. I hope the sun is shining for you like it is here today. It's fantastic. We'll see you next time.